My name is Valerie, and this is Gentle Yoga for All Bodies through Bounty and Soul. This class happens every Tuesday, and it alternates between myself teaching and Danielle. And we also have a class on Saturdays at 9:30. I apologize for the light today. It's a little bit more light than usual coming in, and that's causing this little bit of automatic adjustment that Zoom is doing. So hopefully that's not too distracting on your end. And class will go for about, we're starting a little bit late, so it'll be about 45 minutes. The class is live for folks that want to join. So for future reference, if you go to our website at bountyandsoul.org and look under classes, you can sign up to join us live. When we don't have live folks, we still do a recording like this, but sometimes those classes are shorter if we don't have folks joining in right at 9:30 at start time. I'm probably going to use a strap today. So this is my not rolled up strap, but no worries. If you don't have a strap, you could use a scarf or a tie or a belt. You could even use a towel, a larger towel, like maybe a beach towel rolled up. So I'll give just a minute for folks to grab whatever you have handy. And again, no worries if you don't have a strap, just use what you have on hand. Their yoga props are great, but there's a lot of things that we can use that will have the same or similar um, benefits as actual props. So again, apologies for the light shifting here. It's just that Zoom is automatically adjusting the light. So as these beautiful sunbeams in the background, very ethereal, are moving, it's automatically adjusting our light. So I'm going to start out probably here close to the camera and then move back on to the mat. But let's start off with just a little bit of tuning in, a little bit of breath work, and then we'll bring some more movement in. This class is for all levels, all bodies. And so know that when I'm on the mat, all of these things that we're doing can be done in a chair. I try to give modifications for that and welcome any feedback if there's modifications that we're not giving. And again, you can join in live also by going to the website. So let's take a few breaths, breathing in through the nostrils, out through the mouth. Be more like that. We bring in a sigh. Maybe even opening the jaw, side to side. So this is early June, still spring, not quite summer. A lot of allergy stuff going on right now. We may do a little bit of tapping for that. We do that often. Let's do a few neck and shoulder rolls before we come into a few different breathing activities, different pranayam. So inhaling. And as you exhale, releasing the chin towards the chest, relaxing the shoulders. So allow the shoulder blades to release down the back. And then drawing the left ear to left shoulder, coming back through center, right ear to right shoulder. So moving with the breath, inhaling, exhaling as the chin comes towards the chest, inhaling as ear comes towards the shoulder. And your choice, you can stay with this forward movement, or if it feels okay and safe for your neck, you don't have any disc issues in your neck, you can take that movement all the way around. Making sure to go in both directions. And coming back to center, let's do a few shoulder rolls. Oh, yeah. So those, I say this every time, you guys. Gosh, I feel like I should probably do this every hour of the day. Probably we all could benefit from that. So inhale, squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, down and around. Our shoulders really take on a lot, right? Like they're doing a lot in the support of our head, our neck, but they take on a lot from other places as well. So we have these things like I feel the world on my shoulders, right? Because sometimes we do. It's really, let's change directions. Inhale up, exhale forward. Great intentions that our body has, right, to help us out. But sometimes certain parts, physical parts, energetic parts, take on more than their share, right? Like maybe as we do as a whole person also. And let's inhale the shoulders up. Exhale, release. Let's do that maybe 4 more times. Inhale up. Oh, yeah, that feels good. All right, so let's do, we're gonna do some alternate nostril breathing and also some tapping for sinus and lymphatic release. Let's do the tapping first. Excuse me, and then we'll do some alternate nostril breathing. So if you need to adjust your position, I know you can't see all of me right now, but I'm sitting cross-legged, so you can sit cross-legged with support under your hips, under your knees or thighs. You can be in a chair. If you're in a chair or sofa, make sure that your feet are on the ground, that your feet are flat on the ground, that your tailbone can be flat and balanced. So if you're on a cushy sofa or something, that might mean coming a little more towards the edge. And if you're on like a flat, kitchen chair or something like that, again, just make sure that you feel evenly supported left to right, that your feet can be grounded, connected to the earth. And let's start with tapping here on the collarbones, out towards the shoulder blades. And then we're going to make butterfly hands here and just gently coming down along the sides of the neck. Really gentle movement here. Either hand can be on top. Doesn't really matter. Probably we're going to go to our dominant hand on top. So if you wanted to experiment with non-dominant hand on the top. So I've really been having allergy challenges this year. You guys haven't had it in long time. So if that's the case for you too, or you have any kind of congestion for any reason, you may feel that start to break up. So that will probably happen for me, which it already is as we're talking. So next we're going to bring the hands to the back of the neck and just gentle fingers meet behind the neck and come around the sides. So a little massage. That's really nice. And then we're going to take the hand and stock fingers here and go on either side of the ear. So we'll do both at the same time. I'm just trying to show you what that looks like. If your fingers don't want to do this, then just do it in a way that feels good. The main thing is that we're coming on either side of the ear and down along the bottom of the jaw here. All right. And now we're going to do some gentle tapping from the corners of the eyes, along the cheekbones, up to the outside edges of the eyes. Let's go ahead and do it down a little as well. And then we're going to do that same thing along the top of the brow. Sorry about the light, you guys. And then we're going to do fingers meet at the brow, center of the brow, along the sides. And then if you want, you can do a little head massage. Which might feel nice. My hair's still wet, so I'm not really messing it up. So since we're all doing this virtually, who cares, right? If our hair is messy. All right, so now we're going to do the whole thing back down. So center of the brow. And then along the from the center of the eyes on the outside. And then let's see what's next. Ears. On the sides. Both sides. So what we're doing right now, you guys, the neck rolls, the shoulder rolls, excuse me, any part, there it goes, any part of, a 45-minute or hour-long class can be done. So back of the neck can be done anytime throughout the day. I'm also a holistic health coach and a Reiki master energy practitioner. And one of the things that I really love to share with clients and encourage them, this is be the front here, is to remember that for these tuning in moments, these self-care moments, it doesn't have to be a long thing every day, right? When we have that longer amount of time, that's great. But if we are just doing these things throughout the day, 1 to 3 minutes, that is amazing too. And even has benefits to spread it out like that, right? To stop throughout the day amidst what we're doing. And just tune in with the breath, do neck rolls, shoulder rolls, some of this tapping, breathing exercises, a little flow that, resonates with your body. So just thinking about that as we're moving through this practice today or any of the recorded videos, what are some little pieces that you really resonate with, that your body resonates with, that maybe you could bring into your personal practice throughout the day for those days that you don't have time? And let's do a little bit of massage right here along the sternum. Good for immunity. Might be a little tender. What are some of these pieces that you can bring in throughout the day? Because the more that we can make those little doable moments like that, the more likely we're going to keep them up, right? Otherwise, we might get to the end of the day and be like, I'm just so tired. I don't have a full hour today, but that's okay. We don't have to do the big thing all the time. The little things add up. All right, so I'm going to move back a little bit and maybe grab my water. Again, if you do not have a strap, just take a minute to find yourself a towel, a tie, a scarf, something that will give you a span of about, I don't know, at least 3 to 4 feet. So if you need to grab something, go ahead and do that. And I'm going to meet you back in a minute. Whoop. All right. Okay. Beautiful sunbeams coming in today. All right. My dog's really curious about what's happening. Hopefully he's not going to jump his blockage over there to join us. And I think so I have my blanket here. I think I'm actually going to get also my cushion for a little extra support for my hips today. A blanket, again, can work. If you use a pillow at home, You want that to be firm, or you could take, again, a towel folded up would work great. You just want something that you can make firm and balanced, right? You don't want it to be giving more on one side or the other. All right, so let's do a little spinal flexes here. I'm gonna come a little closer. Okay, great. So inhaling forward, exhaling back. Inhale forward, leading with the chest, leading with the collarbones that we were just tapping. So this is a really gentle, super gentle practice that we're doing today. It always is in these recordings. In person on the Tuesday classes, we might come into more standing flows, warrior poses. And sometimes we do that in these recordings, but as you can see, we don't have a camera person, and so sometimes we're a little limited on what we can kind of get in the screen. But again, let's make some circles here. If we have folks joining live, if you want to join live, that gives us a little more flexibility, because if you're joining live and you say want to work on a certain pose, we can do that. We can make adjustments with the screen, change directions here, you guys. And coming back to center. Let's inhale the arms up. Exhale, twisting towards the right. So the right hand comes behind you. The left hand comes to rest on the right thigh, knee, or shin. If you're seated, same as we were talking about before, you want your feet to stay on the floor, your tailbone to be grounded. You can hold on to the back or side of your chair. And inhaling up to center. Exhale, twisting towards the opposite side. We're going to do this 2 more times to each side. So inhaling up, palms come together. Exhale. On the exhale, navel comes towards the spine, drawing the belly in. Maybe that allows for a little more twist. Maybe you can turn the gaze a little more towards the right shoulder. Feel the left side, though, staying really heavy and grounded. Maybe even bring the hand to that left hip. Just a reminder to stay put. Sometimes when we're moving to one side, the other side wants to jump in and participate, right? But really, we want that opposite side to stay super grounded, kind of pulling down and away to help deepen the stretch. So as we're moving through these, so again, maybe this time you turn your gaze towards the left shoulder. Notice an invitation with the breath, using the breath like a scan. Noticing, is there a difference from one side to the other? Inhaling to center. Does it feel more spacious, less spacious? Do I have a more, kind of turn further from one side to the other? It's not a right or a wrong to that, but just a noticing. For lots of different reasons, we tend to have a greater range of movement on one side or the other. It has to do with how we sit, how we work. Our dominant hand is, turn our little light on. And inhaling back to center. Exhale, releasing the hands to the floor, so palms are coming onto the floor. Really pressing the palms into the floor. Inhaling up, exhaling, folding forward. Inhale up, exhale forward. And come back. Let's do, so let's shake the legs out. We've been seated for a while. Move my cushion. Bring the blanket back and pop it on here. Also do a little time check since we started a little late today. All right, so let's shake the legs out a little. And as you shake the legs out, maybe bringing the hands down the outside of the legs with a little pressure, if that feels okay. So that's along that sciatic nerve and along the IT band, the muscles that run from the hip to the outside of the knee. And then reaching down towards the ankles and then back up again. Inhaling and exhaling as you move through. All right, so let's come into, let's want to come back to cross-legged. Let's do a little more stretching here. So bringing the right sole of the right foot into the left thigh and just pausing for a moment, flexing the foot. You can see my toes there. Perspective's always so weird here. And really press the left heel into the floor, flexing the left foot, maybe squeezing the toes and then expanding them wide. And then relax. Again, flex the foot towards you, press the left foot into the mat, press the back of the calf, back of the thigh into the mat. And then let's inhale the arms up. Exhale, twisting towards the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, reaching forward. Maybe the hands come to the toes, the ankles. Maybe they're coming to the shins or the thigh. But just coming wherever is accessible for you with a straight spine initially. So straight spine, feeling the spine lengthening all the way through the neck. So the neck should be in line with the spine itself. Feeling the sits bones drawn back and towards the floor. So if you were seated here, you would have your right foot on the floor. The left leg would be extended out in front of you with heel pressing into the floor and the toe and the foot flexed back towards you. And you could be folded towards this leg. So that might be just folded with your hand on your thigh. You might be coming all the way down towards the feet. But if you're seated, probably most likely your hand's coming down towards your thigh. Just mostly in terms of stability. So again, maybe that little reminder like we did in the twist, bringing the hand to the crease of the right thigh or to the thigh itself and gently pushing down and back. Inhale up and then exhale, this time folding forward. So releasing the head forward. So this time you can round the shoulders. Before we had a straight spine, remember? Now I can round the shoulders, just coming to land wherever that might be. So hands might be up here on the thigh, the knee, the shin. Could be on the holding onto the toes. If you can't reach your toes, it can be nice here too to give a little massage to the big toe or in between the toes, on the bottom of the foot. Let's find about 3 breaths here. And then slowly coming up. Let's extend the legs long and shake them out again. In fact, while we're extending the legs long here and after we've shaken them out, let's do a little, some ankle rolls. Directions. And let's do that. Squeezing the toes together, spreading the toes wide. Squeeze together, spread wide. Nice. All right. And then flexing and pointing, flexing and pointing. So that you'll feel in your calf muscles. It's also good for strengthening the ankles. All right, so let's do the other side. Okay, so we're bringing the sole of the left foot into the inner right thigh, or just the opposite side of what you did before. So if you were mirroring me, just make sure you're doing the opposite side. I'm pausing here for a moment, just like we did before, grounding the sits bones, lengthening the spine, flexing the foot, drawing the toe back towards you, pressing the heel into the floor. If you're seated in a chair or on the edge of a sofa or chair, you want to make sure that the sits bones are flat. Let's see, your left foot would be on the floor, bent, left knee's bent, right leg extended out in front of you with the foot on the floor and right foot flexed towards you. So you'll be feeling that probably in the back of the thigh, the hamstring muscles. And we're going to inhale up, exhale, twisting towards the right. Inhaling up, exhale, reaching forward. So again, all of us are made differently. So, and sometimes it doesn't necessarily really have to do with flexibility. It can. We can certainly build flexibility, but you know, if you have really long legs and a short torso or short arms, you know, touching your toes might just not be something that's available, at least not in the same way for people that are made differently. So, really honoring that. Both my husband and my daughter are built like that, and they're both very active. It's just really hard for them to touch their toes and do downward facing dog. So inhaling here, we're lifting, lengthening the spine. Maybe bringing the hand to the crease of the thigh, that gentle pressing down and back. As the spine lengthens forward, the neck is an extension of the spine, right? So we have a straight plane, not a folding over yet. We'll get there. Has its benefits too, right? And then inhale back up. Exhale, reaching forward, still straight spine, and then folding forward. So rounding the spine here. Hands may be on the thighs, knees, shins, or toes. Again, if you are able to reach your toes, the opportunity to give yourself a nice massage, toe. Lots of meridians and acupressure points here that correspond to different meridians, different organs in the body. And also, like our shoulders and feet just do a lot of work. Feet and toes do a lot of work. We get left out often of the self-care and stretching and massage process. And find a good maybe 5 more breaths or so here. Breathing into where you feel it's building the stretch. Maybe that's in the hamstrings, where I'm feeling it. And slowly coming back up, nice, and shake it out again. We're going to be using our strap in just a minute, and you can use that from, I can be seated with legs straight out like this. You can be seated cross-legged. You can be up on your knees in the chair or standing. Lots of options, you guys. Okay. So I'm grabbing my strap here. Let's see, I think I'm going to come back onto my cushion. Again, that's just giving a little extra support for the hips and knees. And I grab my strap. So I think we're going to use the strap here for some shoulder opening and then come onto our backs using the strap for some hip opening. I just love these sunbeams coming in, you guys. You know, it kind of messes with the light a little bit and how it's adjusting, but it's really pretty. All right. So finding the length and, you know, just again, maybe starting with about 3 feet or so, and we can always adjust once you see where we're going with this. And if you need to make it longer, feel free. All right, so we're gonna lift the arms overhead. I'm gonna need to adjust mine too. And just hang out here for a minute and breathe. Allow the shoulders to relax. Imagine the shoulder blades lowering on the back. And then we're gonna maybe bring the arms around behind you. So you may need to lengthen the strap to be able to do that. The shorter the strap is, the closer your arms are together, the harder that's going to be. So inhaling over. So you just experiment with that too. If you're like, oh, this is super easy, try tightening it and, oh, yeah, that's a little harder. Or if you're like, no way, are my arms going to go over my head like that? Then loosen it. Get it really wide. Inhale up. Exhale forward. Inhale. Exhale lower. Inhaling up. Exhale, we're going to stretch to the left. So again, maybe the hand comes down to the floor. Maybe not. Maybe you're using that tension in the strap or blanket tie, whatever you have, to hold somewhere. Or give it a little more and come all the way down. Inhale up. Need to adjust in between. Exhale, stretch to the other side. Let's do a couple more times to each side. Inhale. Exhale. You should really be feeling this in the side body. So the muscles between each of the ribs. Feeling really grounded at the base. Oh, yeah, I can really feel that in the abdominal muscles and the core as well. All right, so this might get a little bit tricky just in the explaining, although those of you that have done eagle arms before will know where we're going. So we're going to lift the right arm straight up and allow the strap or whatever you're using here to fall behind you. The left arm is bent and holding on to the bottom of the strap. So this, and then we're going to bend the right arm. Right elbow's coming up, left elbow is going down. So you're holding on to the strap behind you. So different for each of us where we might be holding onto the strap. There might be a foot between where one hand is and where the other hand at the bottom, and that's fine. Or you may, another option, a modification would be to just have the back of that left palm at the sacrum, at the bottom of the spine, and then the right hand kind of at the base of the neck. And maybe you're not even using the strap. But the way that the strap is beneficial is if you're holding onto the strap, we can kind of walk up and down it to bring those hands closer together. So making sure the spine stays straight. Sometimes we might want to lean forward because it helps us to cheat a little and get the hands closer. But more importantly than the hands being closed is that the chest is open, the heart is open, that we're getting the stretch in the back and shoulders. And then release. Let's just let the strap or whatever you're using kind of fall over the shoulder. And maybe a few neck rolls, shoulder rolls, shake it out a little or a lot. Shaking has a lot of benefits. You see animals do it. It's really good for the nervous system for a reset. So sometimes, again, something you can do just in the middle of the day if you're feeling a lot of anxiety, overwhelmed, stress, just standing up and shaking out the whole body. I'm just doing the arms right here, but you can shake it all. All right, so let's come to the other side. So coming back to your extended arms, and then this time we're going to come to left arm up, and then walking down. So left elbow is up. So modifications, if you're not using the strap and you have limited range of motion here, you could bring the left hand to the back of the neck and bring the right palm, back of the right palm to the lower back, to the sacrum. Or you can find the strap and begin walking the hands towards one another. So maybe the hands are meeting in the middle of the back. This is another one, you guys, where you may really notice, like, wow, I could almost touch, or I could touch on one side, and then on the other side, it's so far away. So again, just noticing that, witness, and maybe, with curiosity, wondering why it might be tighter on one side or the other. It's okay to not know that, but just noticing and breathing, getting into the stretch. Beautiful. And let's slowly release it again. Shake it out. In fact, if you want to extend the legs out and shake this too, or if you're standing up, if you've been in a chair and you want to stand up and shake it all out, just letting all that out. All right, so we're going to move on to, actually, let's do a little cat-cow first. I think we've got time before we move on to the back. Yeah, we'll do a little bit of that on hands and knees before we move on to our back. Okay, just to open up the spine a little because before we come on to our backs. Okay, so on hands and knees. Hands are directly underneath the shoulders, fingers spread wide. So fingers are spread wide, and then we want to allow some of the weight to fall into the finger pads so that we're not putting all of the weight into the wrist here, right? Especially if you ever have issues with your wrist or carpal tunnel, spreading that out is going to help take away pressure from there. Excuse me. Yeah, so we're going to inhale up, exhale, pressing the palms into the ground, chin towards the chest, navel towards the spine. Inhale up, exhale. Oh, you guys, we never did the alternate nostril breath. I just remembered that. Okay. Maybe we'll do that at the end if we have time. If not, that's okay. We'll do that another time. Inhaling up as you exhale, coming down into child's pose. Knees can be together or spread wide. And if you are seated, so you would just be doing this with feet on the floor, hands on the thighs as you come forward and back, and that cat-cow. And then here, feet on the floor, feet spread wide toward the outer edges of your chair, and then you're just going to fold forward. Hands might come towards the floor, or arms could be crossed on your knees. Wherever you are, go ahead and see if you can find a place and a way to relax here. We're going to hang out here for about 5 to 7 breaths. So when we come into these longer holds on poses, it's an opportunity to, it's always an opportunity to use the breath, but an opportunity to allow the breath to take us deeper into a pose, to create more space. And really, that's where the magic is, right? It's about creating more space, not about, oh, I got to this, level of a pose. So when I say that, going deeper in a pose, it's not about, the destination, but the journey, right? So breathing into all the places and noticing, just like we're noticing one side to the other, notice where you might feel spacious. Notice where you feel compression or tightness. In this pose, that might be feeling compression in the belly, tightness in the hamstrings. See if you can relax the shoulders. Remember the shoulders and how they like to jump in. And then slowly coming up, do a little bit of wrist stretching before we come on to our back. Maybe just a quick calf stretch. So here we are in tabletop. So pressing down through the right palm, We're going to lift this palm and bring the fingers, the top of the palm onto the mat. You're not putting anywhere near your full weight on this. In fact, most of your weight's going into the right hand. It's just about a stretch for the forearm. And then come back here. We're going to do the same on the other side. Most of the weight's going into the left side. We're just turning the top of that right palm under for a stretch in the forearm. And then you might experiment with palm staying on the mat, but turning the fingertips towards you. So when it's like this, we're stretching the top of the forearm. When you're pressing the bottom of the palm and fingers towards you, you're stretching the bottom of the forearm. So you might want to do that one side at a time as well. You might be able to do both at a time. And again, do one side at a time first and see how that feels. Does it feel good? If it doesn't, then, take it back a little. You don't have to do all the things at one time or ever. All right, so let's do here from tabletop. Let's squeeze right shoulder towards the right. Left shoulder towards the left hip. Actually, it doesn't matter which side first, you guys, as long as we're doing both. The sunbeams, you guys. I feel like it's going to beam me up if I step forward into there. That would certainly make you a little more interesting, right? Okay. Center. Now we're going to squeeze to the other side. For me, that's going to be right shoulder towards the right hip. And back to center. Inhaling as you exhale. So modifications, if it ever becomes too much on your wrist, a few things you can do. You can roll your mat up and bring the base of the palm and the wrist underneath there. That gives a little support. You can be on your fists. You can be down on your forearm. So those are all great modifications. If at any point this part of tabletop, it becomes too much for your wrist. All right, so we're going to step the left foot back, gently rocking back and forth. So that's kind of similar to when we were pointing and flexing before, right? So drop the left hip as you extend the left leg back. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So right leg's extended back this time. If you are seated, you could do, if you're in a chair, you could stand up and do this while holding onto the back or base of the chair, or you could be seated and extend one leg straight in front of you and point and flex the foot, just similar to what we did earlier. And rocking back and forth. All right, so let's come on to our backs. Making any adjustments that you need, if you want to be on a blanket or have a little bit of support under the neck. And hopefully I'm going to be close enough. All right. So coming on to the back. I can't totally see here, you guys, so this is where one of the many times the camera person comes in handy. All right, but coming on to your back. Let's alternate drawing one knee into the chest, extending the other leg long. You could keep that extended leg bent if that feels better. And then we're going to draw the opposite leg in, extend out. And then drawing both knees into the chest, gently rocking from side to side, and finding your strap, tie, blanket, bolster, or towel. If you're using a towel or a blanket and you need to take a minute to roll that up to make it easier to grab. And then we're just going to have that on the soles of the feet. So other modifications for this, if you don't have a strap or just want to try it a different way, could be to have your feet up against a wall. So you would scoot up towards the wall and the feet are going at the edge of a wall. You could also do this like behind a sofa. so that the sofa is helping to support, kind of in a similar way, like the strap is actually helping to support this stretch. Relax the shoulders. And here's a time where the shoulders probably want to roll forward and up. See if you can relax them towards the floor. Think about really maybe even allowing them to contact the floor as much as possible in the back. And then we're going to bring the your strap, towel, whatever you're using, just around the bottom of the right. Lower that left foot to the floor. And this left leg can be bent or extended straight for this first part. We're going to bring your strap or whatever you're using into the right hand and beginning to allow that right leg to fall towards the right. So that we're all, remember, this is another place where our structural differences, our flexibility differences are really coming into play. Some people are going to come close to the floor, some are going to stay way up here. Wherever you're going, do that really slowly. Even if you know you're super flexy and you're just going to go all the way to the floor, go slowly with the breath. Maybe bring your hand to that left hip as a reminder for the left side to stay grounded. Finding the breath. Coming back up to center again, pretty slowly here. This time we are going to extend the left leg long. Inhaling, and as you exhale, drawing that leg across the body. Another great opportunity to notice which one of these feels easier, which feels easier or more spacious, or how do they just feel different? Maybe it's not a matter of one being easier or the other, but is that opening and extension outward or crossing over? What feels more intense? What feels more needed in this moment, resonant in this moment? Again, relax the shoulders. They may have jumped in. Slowly coming back to center. Let's bring the left foot in, release the right foot down, bent or straight. Bringing the strap into the left hand, and here we go. Slowly, maybe bring the hand to the right hip, just as that reminder. So the right side stays down, shoulders stay relaxed. Breathing into that stretch. So on this opening, most likely you're feeling this in the hamstrings, right? That's the back of the thighs. And then when we cross over, you're probably feeling it more in the IT band and the hip outside of the leg. Slowly, again, a little fast there on the upswing. Extending the right leg this time and crossing over. So on this, when you're coming over, it is probably where you're feeling it. Potentially, I should say, where you're feeling it. And again, when joining in the live class, it's an opportunity for us to have feedback in the moment. If anyone's joining in live, to be like, oh, okay, what this isn't working, what's a modification I can do, or if I'm feeling it more in this place. So just remembering that there's the opportunity for the live classes as well, or to join live. That doesn't always work with everyone's schedule, so the recordings are a great option to have as well. So let's come back to those feet up. Relaxing the shoulders. And then releasing the strap. Let's bring the right knee in as you slowly lower the left leg down. Switching sides, bring the left knee in, extend the right leg up, slowly lowering that right leg down. Do that a couple more times. Right knee in, left leg up, slowly lowering down. Left knee in, right leg up, slowly lowering down. One more time. Last time on this side. Bring both knees in, releasing the feet to the floor, spreading the feet wide, arms out to the side, letting the knees fall to the left and then the right. And then maybe letting them hang out on one side, head turns to the opposite side. Let's do one more twist here and stretch. So crossing the right leg over the left. If you're seated, you're going to cross the right leg over the left and then turn the body towards the right. Those of us on the floor, right leg's on top. We're going to allow the right leg to fall to the left, head turn to the right. See if you can keep the shoulders flat on the floor. Let's find about 5 breaths here, allowing the legs to be heavy. Breathing into where you're feeling the stretch and the opening. Coming back to center, crossing the left leg over the right. If you're seated, you're going to cross the left leg over the right and then turn the body, upper body to the left. On the floor, we're going to allow that top leg to fall to the right, turning the gaze to the left. And again, noticing where's the holding, where is the tension. See if you can breathe into that and allow. Can you allow where there's holding? And coming back to center. Any movement that you feel like you need before coming into Shavasana. So maybe that's a bridge or happy baby, knees back to chest, your choice. And then just going ahead and once you found that movement, take your time, but once you found that movement, go ahead and extend the legs long. Arms by your side, palms facing up, relaxing the shoulders. And just taking a moment here to notice how the body feels after this time of intentional movement, intentional breath. Noticing the feet, noticing where the heels are touching the floor and the mat. Noticing the back of the calves, the shins and the knees. Noticing the back of the knees, the hamstrings, the quadriceps in front of the thighs, the hips and belly. As you notice each place, maybe breathing into that place and allowing a little release or letting go, feeling the support of the mat, of the floor, of the earth beneath you. Noticing the lower back and spine. Where are the places that might be touching the mat? The mid back and ribs, shoulder blades. the fingertips and back of the palms, forearms that we stretched. Noticing the elbows and the upper arms. Noticing the chest and the ribs, the heart, and organs of the mid body. Noticing the throat, front of the throat, thyroid gland, the back of the throat, and spine, cervical spine. Noticing the jaw, the front of the face and brow, where we tapped earlier and released. Noticing the top of the head. Maybe bringing your attention and focus to that space between the brow, third eye. Continuing to focus on the third eye. Noticing any color or sensation in the crown. Bring your attention to the top of the head and that 1 to 2 feet all around the top of the head. And just an invitation to imagine yourself here surrounded by light in all directions. So maybe picturing it like a bubble that's surrounding you top to bottom, left to right, even above and below, in all directions. Imagine this golden light surrounding you, nourishing you with this golden light. Palms open, heart open to receive that nourishment, that nectar. Knowing that it's being received just where it's needed in your body, your unique body, your cells, your DNA. Knowing that that light continues to surround you, to nourish you beyond this moment, beyond this class. And I invite you, if you'd like, if you have time, feel free to stay in Shavasana. Or if you're ready or needing to come out, beginning to come onto one side. Gently pushing yourself up. Coming up to seated. I'm going to come a little closer here. So coming back to the breath, breathing in through the nostrils and out through the nostrils. Maybe a breath out through the mouth. Bring the hands together. Create a little heat. And bringing the hands to the heart. Bringing the hands to heart center. I'm just pausing in a moment of gratitude. Gratitude for yourself for showing up for this time. To Bounty and Soul for giving us this platform. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing this time and space, even virtually. We are connected. Peace to all, light to all, love to all. Satnam, namaste, all the things. Thank you so much. I hope you'll join us on Saturday for future Tuesday classes. And just a reminder, you can go to the website at bountyandsoul.org to access other classes, other yoga classes, wellness classes, and a lot more good stuff. Thank you so much, everyone.